Hello, my name is Leah and this is our presentation on mental health for assignment 1. This work was completed by myself alongside Sadia, Ibru and Khalil. Today we're going to talk about the importance of mental health, some of the challenges people experience and the support available. Here is the table of contents for our presentation. We're going to start with an introduction to what mental health is and why it's important. Then we'll talk about addiction and how it affects mental well-being. Next, we'll cover the Mental Health Act of 1983 and why it plays a key role in supporting individuals. Then we'll finish with a conclusion and our references. Mental health affects everyone in different ways, whether it's something you experience daily or only in certain moments. Even a single negative thought or event can impact how a person feels, and for some people this can lead to harmful behaviours. We chose this topic because we wanted to raise awareness and help people understand what others may be going through. Throughout this presentation, we'll be highlighting key areas including addiction, the Mental Health Act of 1983, and different coping strategies and treatments. Our aim is to provide a clear information and help people recognise the importance of mental health for overall well-being.
Hi, my name is Quili Padmasri. My student ID is S327846, and I'll be talking about my slide on addiction and its effect on mental health. It's easy to get hooked on drugs when you are struggling, as it comes as an escape from reality and gives the illusion of things being good for a while. And when the high dies down, reality comes crashing down with it. Therefore, the hold drugs have on the mind is what makes it so tempting to go back to. But after being flooded by drugs several times, the brain chemistry could start to be altered and prevent communication between neurotransmitters. Over time, they start to take over and do long-term damage, such as affecting thinking and solving problems. But understanding why they are doing that to themselves is important too. It isn't easy to tell someone that you are struggling and need help. It's easier to keep it all in and find ways to cope, even if they are unhealthy. However, in the mind of the person, they don't care for the effects, as they just need an escape from all their personal problems. By being high on what they take, they feel a sense of joy that can't be obtained when sober. To help, you could take them to support groups, as they can be effective. Talking to people who are going through the same thing can help them feel comfortable in the group to talk about their issues and take the necessary steps to recovery. There is a validation in the knowing that they won't be judged for how they had been during that time, as the others would relate. Another way to help is by learning about why they started using, listening to them with empathy and not judging them, as no one is the same when it comes to coping, and for the person, it wouldn't be easy opening up either. Thank you for your time, and I hope we have all been able to learn something new today.
Hello, my name is Sadia and today I'll be talking about the Mental Health Act 1983. This law is important in the UK because it explains how people with serious mental health problem can be assisted and kept secure, especially when they need someone to get help, to ensure that everyone is get treatment fairly and keep their dignity. This law is very old because it was made in 1983, is more than 40 years old. When this law was made, it was not researched properly, so people believe we didn't get treated fairly. Before this act, people with mental health problems were kept in hospital for years with no follow-up checkups, meaning they were never get treated or medical attention required. One of the biggest part of this law is something called sanctioning. This means a person can be taken to hospital for care even if they don't want to go, but only when it's truly necessary. For example, Section 2 lets doctors keep someone up for up to 28 days to understand what's wrong. Section 3 allows longer treatment up to 6 months. Section 4 only for emergencies up to 72 hours. 2 doctors and 1 trained social worker called an approved mental health professional must all agree before someone can be sanctioned. This helps stop someone from using the law wrongly. It must be 2 doctors and 1 experienced social worker held someone in hospital, and it protects everyone from misusing the law. This law is for people to protect their rights. Whoever in hospital under this law must be explained what's their right and why they kept them in hospital. they can speak to someone from that department who is called an independent mental health advocate, who describes things in easy way and help them to speak for themselves. Also, people can ask a mental health team to check if the decision is fair. It is very important for the person because power goes back to that person, not just for the system. The Mental Health Act is still used on daily basis in hospitals and care services. It keeps everyone safe, and at same time doctors and nurses get respect which they deserve while they are working. Some people think the law needs to change again because it's still used more often on people from Black and Asian background. The government is planning new reform to make it fairer and to give patients more say in their treatments. In simple words, this law is trying to balance two things: keeping people safe and giving them freedom and dignity. It shows that good care is not just about medicine, but also about kindness and understanding. Most people think this law is required to change again because they are using more often on from Black and Asian background. Thank you for listening. The Mental Health Act 1983 is a reminder that mental health care must not be taken lightly and always to protect those in need. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Leah Humphrey. My student ID is S327550. On this slide, I will be talking about different coping strategies and treatments that support mental health. First, we have emotion-focused coping skills. These are strategies that help you manage your feelings and reduce uncomfortable emotions or stress. Examples include things like distraction, meditation, creative activities, cleaning, exercise, practicing self-care, listening to music, giving yourself a pep talk, reframing your perspective, and practicing gratitude. These techniques don't change the situation itself, but they help you cope better emotionally. Next, we have problem-focused coping skills. These strategies aim to actually change the stressful situation or reduce the source of stress. This can include problem solving, improving time management, setting healthy boundaries, seeking therapy, being proactive, and asking for help when you need it. These approaches help you feel more in control and improve long-term outcomes. On the right side, I have listed different treatments for mental health. These include meditation, hospitalization for more severe cases, alternative therapies, and education. Treatment options vary depending on individual and the type of mental health condition, and often a combination of approaches work best.
Hiya, my name is Ebru Sen. My student ID is S327647. I'm going to talk about conclusion in Mental Health Act of 1983. In conclusion, mental health is a fundamental part of a person's overall well-being, shaping how they think, feel, and cope with everyday challenges. Society has begun to recognize that mental health deserves the same level of attention, care, and investment as a physical health. However, despite this increased awareness, many individuals still struggle to access the support they need. Stigma, fear of judgment, and long waiting times. How addiction can affect a person's mental health, and how the Mental Health Act of 1983 is used to support and protect people during difficult times. Mental health is something every person carries, whether they talk about it openly or not. Addiction doesn't just change someone's behavior. It can change the way the brain works, make it harder for a person to cope and think clearly. Understanding this helps us realize why recovery can be so challenging and why empathy is so important. What really makes a difference is how we respond. When we replace judgment with understanding, and anger with support, and recovery becomes more possible. No one overcomes addiction alone. It takes patience, proper treatment, and people who genuinely care. The process is slow, messy at times, but it's also filled with moments of strength and hope. We also explored how the Mental Health Act works in practice. Although it can seem strict, its purpose is to keep people safe while making sure the rights are respected. Having access to professionals and advocates ensures that decisions are fair and no one is left alone without support. Overall, these topics remind us how important it is to listen, understand, and raise awareness about mental health. When we approach these issues with knowledge and compassion, we help create a society where people feel safer, more supported, and less judged for what they are going through. Many thanks.